Welcome back to Comic Universe, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life. And today, welcome back to Who's Worse. If you don't know what this segment is, this is a new segment on here where I talk about two different villains, and not so much what would it be like if they fought. This isn't like a fight video. This is more like a discussion video, more like a topic video, in that I talk about which villain committed the worst atrocities against their respective heroes, and I talk about which one I think is the worst of the two, but I leave it up to you guys in the comments below. Not so much as voting, but more like you guys can discuss, tongue-tied there, can discuss which villain is the worst of the two. Now, last time it was Joker and Green Goblin, but this time around, I'm not doing just comic book characters. Today I'm doing anime manga characters. And I'm talking about two classic anime villains that I think a lot of us know and loathe. And that is Frieza, from of course Dragon Ball Z, and Naraku from Inuyasha. The two respective villains. Now, let's talk about Frieza. Now, Frieza is, as we all know, was the first major villain for Dragon Ball Z. Well, if you don't count the Saiyans, and, well, the Saiyans were big threats, but Frieza was the first, like, holy shit, how do we beat this guy kind of villain. That's what he really was. That's what Frieza really was this, holy shit, how the fuck do we beat this guy kind of villain. And Frieza, as we all know, Frieza, of course, he has a laundry list of just horrors he's committed. From destroying the planet Vegeta and wiping out the Saiyan race, although he didn't do a good job of it, considering Goku, Vegeta, Turles, Broly, Paragus. Yeah, there was a few, Raditz, Vegeta, Nappa, just a few, few Saiyans here and there. But Frieza, as we all know, is pretty much a superpowered sociopath. Frieza has not only wiped out the Saiyan race, but you gotta remember, the Saiyans weren't the Saiyans weren't exactly saints. They weren't exactly saints. They were this race of intergalactic superpowered barbarians that worked for Frieza, and then he was like, nah, fuck him. So from there, Frieza continues to be a threat in that, he went to Planet Namek, wiped out the Namekians, and then proceeded to, kill Vegeta, he killed Krillin, and of course, one of the most epic moments in anime history was Goku becoming a Super Saiyan, killing him, and then he came back, only to get killed by Trunks. But, here's the thing about Frieza, is that Frieza is just a monster. Not just aesthetically, he is just a monster inside and out. He is this horrible, horrible person who loves killing. Let's not forget that he spent only 3 months training to get his golden form to actually be on par with Goku and Vegeta's god forms. So, you got that, you got that going for you, and it makes you wonder how much power he would have if he kept training outside of 3 months. But I'm not here to talk about that. Frieza is this just monster of a person. He kills without, conscience or anything else. Anything lower than him, he'll just wipe out with a single point of his finger. Boom, you're dead. But Frieza is a major threat. He is more or less much like with Joker, in that he's a catalyst for Joker killed Jason Todd. He became Red Hood. Joker crippled Barbara Gordon. She became Oracle. Much like in that sense, Frieza was a catalyst for so much of the Dragon Ball Z series. Had it not been for him blowing up Planet Vegeta, Goku would have never probably made it to Earth. Although, if you look at the movies, yeah, Cooler as well, but still. Cooler had a hand in that, but I digress. Had it not been for, Goku, Frieza killing Krillin, as well as Vegeta, Goku wouldn't have enough rage to ascend to to a Super Saiyan level. So that's this is a big thing for Frieza, is that, he committed some major atrocities in wiping out the Namekians, also nearly killing Nail, allowing Piccolo to fuse with Nail, to gain enough power to fight Frieza until he went to his next form. But still, Frieza, much like I said, is a catalyst for a lot of the atrocities that the Dragon Ball Z characters had to overcome. He was the one who pretty much was like, Okay, the Saiyans went off to go get the Dragon Balls. I'm gonna go get my own Dragon Balls. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Namekian ones. Get 3 wishes, motherfuckers. But yeah. So there's a bit about Frieza right there. So, but however, you gotta know, there is another anime villain we gotta talk about. This is, you know, a comparison video. And yeah, let's talk about the other character who's committed some very terrible things in his own right, Naraku from Inuyasha. Now, Naraku, for those who are unaware of who Naraku is, or if you've never seen the Inuyasha anime or read the manga, Naraku was this young man named Onigumo who fell in love with this priestess named Kikyo, but she was already in love with Inuyasha. So, being the jealous boyfriend that he is, the jealous asshole that he is, Onigumo opened himself up to a horde of demons and became Naraku, and then proceeded to wreck everyone's life in feudal Japan. First, he assumed the identity of Inuyasha and killed several people, and making Inuyasha go nuts, steal the Shikon Jewel Shard, leading to Kikyo nailing his ass to a tree with a sacred arrow that would eventually be pulled by a reincarnation of Kagome. But also, he led to the eventual death of he also had the death of Kikyo on his hands, forever break. And then, actually, no, I'll get to that in a moment. Let's also not forget that he is also the reason why Moroku's family has the wind tunnel curse. So, yeah, you got him to thank for that. Also, another thing is that he also slaughtered Kagome's demon-killing tribe, except for her younger brother Kohaku, who he mentally enslaved and turned into a weapon. Yeah, so Naraku has committed a lot of atrocities, and more or less he's pulled the strings on several demons. He's also, those made from him are, you know, forever enslaved by him. Remember, Kagura, one of his minions, wanted to get away from him, but she had his heart. He had her heart, and kept her under his thumb, leading her to try to be like the Starscream of the group, in that she would try to, you know, usurp his power several times over. Yeah, which did not do well for her, in the very least. Anyway, so Naraku, I'm so tongue-tied, I'm sorry. Naraku was this just scheming mastermind, unlike Frieza, who was more like, I'm gonna kill him. He's more like, I'm going to wait in the shadows and pull the strings and destroy their lives from the inside out. Remember, he also, if you remember the anime and manga, he also not only murdered, well, actually, no, he didn't really have a hand in that. He was more like trying to get that, you know, when Kikyo was resurrected was resurrected. Oh, I am so bad today. I'm sorry. He essentially tried to get her on his side for a time being, because yeah, he still wanted her. A part of him still wanted her. Also, in the movies, he also manipulated the Inuyasha group, Kagome and the others, into killing a threat that was more powerful than him. He pulled the strings enough by faking his death and making them kill an adversary that he knew he couldn't take on. So he was like, hey, thanks, fam. Oh, by the way, I'm still out to kill you fuckers. Bye! So, yeah. The dude also, loved to get in people's heads and fuck with them. He really wanted to harness their harness a lot of he usually, unlike Frieza, and I'm sorry I'm getting tongue-tied, it's been a day for me. Unlike Frieza, who was more like in your face and gonna kill you himself, Naraku was more like get in your head and attack you emotionally. And I've always found those villains more terrifying, although not to discredit it. Keep in mind, I'm not here to discredit Frieza in the least. No, that dude's one of my favorite anime villains. But Frieza never really went for the emotional part. Although he did kill Dende and said, oh, I just wanted to kill him to upset you guys. But Naraku always had, he was 10 steps ahead of everybody, and loved to attack people emotionally. He was a mastermind, whereas Frieza was more of a destroyer. But not to discredit anything Frieza has done horribly, Naraku attacked whereas Frieza attacked his enemies on a physical level, Naraku, while he was incredibly powerful, Naraku, on the other hand, went for the more emotional route. And I've always found that more of a, of an attack, you can come back from being, from having your bones broken, but it takes a long time to heal mentally over physically. I found that from experience that it takes longer to heal mentally than it does physically. So, Naraku is just downright cruel, evil, but Frieza, on the other hand, not so much for the head games, but when you're a planet killer, yeah, with a, you can one-finger planet kill an entire race, you're really up there. So anyway, guys, you guys tell me in the comments below, who do you think of the two is the worst villain? Do you think Frieza is worst, or do you think Naraku is the more terrible bastard? As always, this is just a discussion in the comments below. Always curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. And yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and see you once more in the universe.